Good evening, ladies and gents. You join me from Tower Hill, and this is All Hallows by the Tower, also known as All Hallows Barking, because this church, the original, was founded in the year 675 by, of course, Barking Abbey. And you see up there St Ethelburga, the Virgin Mary, and I can't quite remember who the third gentleman is. Yeah, this is an amazing church. That original church survived the Great Fire of London. It was to the top of that steeple, one of those places that Samuel Pepys climbed to survey the damage after the Great Fire of London had occurred. Sadly, that church survived the Great Fire of London, but was badly damaged in the Second World War, and this is its restoration that we see. So we'll cross over the road and we shall go in. This will be a two-parter because this church, there are parts of it that are even older than we think. There's a Saxon arch in there and Roman pavements in the crypt below, so the crypt will be a part two. So join me as we cross over the road and join me inside the church. We have crossed over the road, not into the afterlife, thankfully. But yeah, this is All Hallows Barking. Badly damaged in the Second World War, really badly damaged. There are old parts of it, as you can see here, and they used old stones, but a lot of it had to be rebuilt, an awful lot. It's a lovely church and they've done a nice job, and the most fascinating part is the crypt. So we shall hopefully enjoy ourselves. William Penn, Quaker, born on Tower Hill, baptised at All Hallows Church, 23rd of October 1644, founder of Pennsylvania. And you'll see that when we go into the crypt. There's information and evidence and things like that. Oh, it's a fine church. Some exterior views. We'll save a little bit of that for later on, I think. A bit more of that, something a bit special for you. So, in we shall go. I'll pause you while I take off my hat. And in we shall go. And here you've got this wonderful panoramic map of London, which is an amazing thing to see. There's more of it on that side as we go through the door in a minute, which we'll see. It's an amazing thing. London. Oh, you can see all the church spires. St Michael's, St Peter's, St Helens, Bishopgate. St Mary Othery, which became, or has become, Southwark Cathedral. St Paul's Church, or the old St Paul's Cathedral. Look at the old architecture, look. Quite a bit of that survived, luckily. That isn't as sloped as, gradually sloped as I thought it was. You can plunge it down. Sorry. Londonium. It's fascinating, this map, it really is. You can see all the Thames watermen going up and down and over river. Now we should go into a lovely Christmassy church. Beautiful old church, this one. The north door entrance porch with a mural. A Visschers historic view of London. In 1616, the rare glimpse of the city of London before the Great Fire. That rumbling is the trains going underneath us. which Samuel Pepys watched from the church tower. The triptych commemorates the burial here of Bishop John Vischer in 1535 following his execution at the Tower Hill. His body was later removed to the tower together with that of Sir Thomas More. Behind you is the splendid Harrison and Harrison organ rebuilt after World War II, one of the original instruments Albert Schweitzer made, famous Bach recordings. The Stuart coat of arms on the organ loft refers to the time when All Hallows was a Royal Chantry Chapel. It's got some really nice stained glass. You see all the burn damage, look on the walls from the war. Edward Alexander. You can really hear them trains rumbling, can't you? Pause to read any of the monuments if you wish. London Lake has an awful amount of photos, so there's a lot. I went to the Church of St Margaret Pattens before this, a guild church, and the guild had a service, and I was very kindly given permission to discreetly, audio only, record the carol service, which is absolutely lovely to hear. I hope it's something you'll enjoy as much as I did. St Anthony of Egypt. This medieval carved wooden image is of St Anthony of Egypt, a prominent leader amongst the Desert Fathers. He is identified by his long staff, which is surmounted by a teu, the Greek letter T, also known as the Egyptian cross. This alcove was originally the entrance door to the rood beam, which once stretched right across the church from the north wall to the south wall at a length of 15 feet. The tiles you can see in the floor below are all the remain of the medieval church floor and its original level. Oh look, that's interesting. When I say this church got badly damaged in the war, please do believe me that it got badly damaged. One of the church's old communion tables. Oops, sorry. That's all in Latin. 1585, and he was aged 58. Stained glass is gorgeous. And to think that this is all post-war, and people say, oh, they can't do that nowadays. Well, they did. Over here is where the sacrament, the Blessed Sacrament of the Host and the wine is kept. And that's an altar tomb. That's an old medieval altar tomb from the old church. And this is the Lady Chapel that we're standing in at the moment. Stained glass really is gorgeous, it's lovely. Yeah, this church is was the headquarters of the Tok H Society, which you'll find out a little bit more about as we go down into the crypt. These are the battles. See Barking Abbey's arms there, because this church was founded by the Abbey. Nice wooden pews as well, post-World War ones. It's a gorgeous bracket clock, I do like this. It doesn't run, but it is a really nice clock. 18th century. Face. And you've got the tomb here of Philip Thompson Bayard Clayton, CH, MC, DD, FSA, 1885 to 1972. We'll see the other side of that in a bit. Sorry, beg your pardon. This, here, look, St. Roche. I was almost accidentally knocked over. Oh no, it's not that. Oh, this is St. James of Compostela. There's a statue in a church somewhere of St. Roche, and I almost knocked it over. This carved wooden statue of St. James of Compostela shows the Apostle James dressed as a medieval pilgrim with a flask, staff and hat. According to Frederick Gossian, the carver of the statue was Arndt, and it dates from 1484. Amazing piece. And here you see the backside of the pulpit. We'll leave the Lady Chapel behind and go to the high altar, the sanctuary. In the days, the real old days, medieval times before the Reformation and such like, you could run into a church and claim sanctuary and hide from the law by running to the altar and touching the altar cloth and claiming sanctuary. Visitors are requested not to enter the sanctuary, so if you do come and these chairs aren't here, don't, because they don't like that at all. Look, and you can see all what they had to rebuild, because the whole roof and everything came down when this got bombed in the war. It was a devastating one for the city to have lost, but they rebuilt it, as you can see, and did a really fine job of it. Here's the pulpit, and that's fine in itself. That is old. You see a very fine carving on it. will probably be a several parter. So, yeah. You see the tomb lock from this side. Founder, Padre of Talbot House, Toc H. Popping year, 1915. All Hallows, 1922. So this is the man that founded the Toc H Society. And you will see a really amazing thing associated with that down in the crypt. Which, if that's your thing, do watch. See the organ look that they rebuilt after the war with the Royal Arms. Above there you have the ship. But we will go round that way. As we come to the Mariners' Chapel here. Of course, this is where the mariners are all remembered. Prayed for and such like. The Mariners' Chapel, dedicated to all those with maritime links. The wooden screen commemorates the church's link with the Port of London Authority. The wood of the crucifix comes from the Cutty Sark, and the ivory figure is said to come from a Spanish armada. In the case on the right is the Maritime Foundation's memorial book for those who have been lost at sea and have no known grave. The stained glass contains many maritime connections, including the coats of arms of shipping companies and livery companies, as well as memorials and maritime disasters. The collection of model ships displayed around the church embodies the ongoing connection between All Hallows and the sea. See, I told you. You can see the ships up there. From the Cutty Sark, ivory from the Armada. I will be taking separate pictures of the memorials and stained glass, which will be a separate feature, but they are interesting. Trent, this bell, is in memory of the 9 seafarers who lost their lives on the British Trent after the collision in the southern North Sea on the 3rd of June 1993. The model was made by Sub-Lieutenant Ronald Francis Drake, Royal Navy. Missing HM submarine Stonehenge, March 1944. Valiant hearts of pride and remembrance for Thomas Spencer Vaughan Phillips, Admiral of the Eastern Fleet. crow's nest. This wooden barrel is the crow's nest from the Quest, the ship in which Sir Ernest Shackleton made his third and last Antarctic voyage. Wow! The Shackleton Railway Expedition. The venture has been described as the dividing line between what has become known as the heroic age of Antarctic exploration and the mechanical age. Shackleton himself called the voyage pioneering, and amongst the new technological gadgets, this crow's nest was electrically heated and included a wireless set. On the 17th of September 1921, having been formally inspected by King George V, the Quest sailed past All Hallows Church for a raised tower bridge to begin her voyage south. Huge crowds of well-wishers lined the banks and the bridges of the Thames to cheer on her way. 100 years later, centenary celebrations took place in Shackleton's birthplace in Ireland, in South Georgia, where he died and is buried. And in September 21, after being carefully inspected and packed up, the barrel travelled first to Athen in Ireland, to be reunited there with the Shackleton's specially built deck cabin from the Quest. These two items are now the only surviving pieces of the ship. This visit was the first time both have been displayed together since the end of the original expedition. From Athy, the crow's nest was driven back to Bristol and then crossed the globe to South Georgia by sea, finally arriving in Grytviken to travel the last couple of miles by forklift truck, whilst dodging the fur seals and penguins. It was then on display for the whole tourist season, with Shackleton enthusiasts from all over the world visiting to celebrate the centenary. The whole project was almost 3 years in the planning and has taken 2 years in execution. Everyone involved has been delighted to be able to show one of All Hallows' treasures to a worldwide audience this way. That's amazing. There's going to be several parts to this, probably 3. I can't help it. This is a fascinating church with so much history. Wow. That's amazing. What a fascinating object. More beautiful stained glass. And the reason I'm saying that's amazing and so surprised by it, because on my first visit in 2021, that was not here. So, what a privilege and an honour. The Queen Mother Centre, that's where the cafe and toilet and things like that are. Absolutely beautiful. Here's an interesting memorial. This one. It's a replacement of a Tudor one. 1552 to the 7th of September 1621, that's the man, and 1558 till the 20th of February 1643. Francis Connell, citizen, and Skinner and Margaret, his wife, also their son, Captain Thomas Connell, were of this parish and buried in this aisle. Very interesting. So they'll be buried here somewhere, or they were. Where are, I don't know. More sword rests, look. Sword rest. Lord Mayor of London. 1755. And you have a memorial on the wall here. It is I, be not afraid. To the dear memory of Robert Salbots, Cornwall, Robert Salbots, Cornwall, Christopher Henry Witt, Roland Morris Purnell, Harold Walter Rendell, destroyed off Gray's End, October the 25th, 1913, erected by their sorrowing comrades, the survivors of the Daily Mirror's own Trooper Sea Scouts. Now, do I move for part 2?